Hey, it's Wes Pruitt from 4-Star Sports Media, your 24/7 home for sports coverage. Podcasts, live shows, and expert takes all in one place. 4star.live on web and 4Star Sports M on X. From the hardwood of Hogs Hoops to conference crunch of college football, we're diving deep. Whether it's Memphis Preps, the latest NFL headlines, or ringside breakdowns of WWE and AEW, it's all happening here at 4Star Sports Media.
Welcome to Conference Crunch on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. This fast-paced deep dive into college athletics covers it all. Now, your host, Wes Pruitt.
I'm a man! I'm 40!
Welcome into Conference Crunch right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. There's Mike Gundy. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Special episode. Got John Sturdivant, fellow bald guy, in here with me as well. And we've got a special guest. It's a name that, well, Memphis fans will readily recognize. So will Georgia Tech, and so will fans around the country. And that is UNLV head men's basketball coach, Josh Pastner. Welcome into the show, Coach.
Gentlemen, even though you both don't have as much hair as I do, because I've got a little more gray, you both are better looking than me. So just to let you know that, I appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to talk some hoops and the state of college athletics and anything else you guys want to talk about. So looking forward to it.
So, Coach, John likes to ask some of the smaller picture questions. I'm more of a big picture guy myself. So let me start with a big picture question. What is the biggest truth about college basketball right now that most coaches are quietly thinking about, but no one really wants to say out loud?
The biggest truth I would say is, and I've said it out loud many times, there is no NIL. We're just paying to play. I think the only way to probably get to a situation where there's some stability and maybe some more structure based on the pay-to-play model that there is right now. As much as people have talked about the federal government getting a law, I don't foresee that happening. That's going to appease all 50 states. I think the only way to get this done, or even, not only to appease all 50 states, more just that there's a lot more going on in government than worrying about the college athletic scene. But I think the only way to kind of put it back together to the best of the ability is to get a collective bargaining agreement, a CBA, so the players are at the table. Here's what the deal is, and that eliminates the lawsuits. That eliminates the opportunity for someone to go to court and try to get an injunction from the state courts. And so I think that's probably the only way to get to that point. How to go about that, with whether to make them employees, or I don't know if I've heard some people say you can do a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement, without having them being employees. I wouldn't know all that stuff, but I think that's probably the only way where it's headed to at this point.
Very solid answer, Coach. Appreciate that. My question for you is, from the Memphis days to the Georgia Tech days and now at UNLV, what did you learn about yourself the most through those transactions?
Yeah, you guys know this. I was a head coach at 31 years of age, taking over John Calipari at Memphis. We had, his last 4 years there, he had won about 95% of his games, and here I am taking over for him. Obviously, then going to Georgia Tech, which was a rebuild job, and then now coming here at UNLV, which is another rebuild job. So I've learned a lot about myself. I'm 48 years of age. If I could go back to being the head coach at Memphis today, what I know today, we would have, even though we won a lot of games and we won over 70% of our games there, we would have won way more if I knew what I knew now to bring it back there to the time at Memphis. But obviously that's growth. That's just you're improving as a coach and as a human being each day that you move forward. And so what I would probably say, Jonathan, is the biggest thing for me in going into my 16th year as a head coach. I would say that I have a clear, defined picture of what I know how we want to play, of what I know what it takes to be successful, for our team to be successful, and there is no muddying of the water to get there. I mean, it's very clearly defined, and maybe looking back in my first couple years at Memphis, I mean, I was surefire on certain things that had to be done, but was I as clear as possible, or did we change too much from year to year on some things? And but that's just part of the growth aspect of myself. So I'm very have clear defined of understanding of what, in my personal belief, sitting in that chair, of what it takes to have the success that we need to have on the floor.
Josh Pastner joining us right here on the Conference Crunch, right here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. Coach, for your current program, the Running Rebs of UNLV, what's one realistic path back to being a national player? And is that even possible without a massive spending jump in both NIL and support staff?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know back in the 80s and 90s, UNLV basketball was the epicenter of college basketball. Won the national championship in 1990. Some say it was the best team ever in history of college basketball. And but things are different now, as you just mentioned. I mean, so much of it about college basketball and college athletics, but especially college basketball and college football is going to be about the NIL and the financial situations. And a lot of it's based on budget. And so for us, obviously, we're not in one of those power conferences. We don't have the same budget even as Memphis. We're not even in their same galaxy, based on the reports that I hear, online or whatever. So I just know where we're at. And so for us to be successful, Wes, we've got to be outstanding, near perfect at trying to thread the needle, at evaluating, and then also finding guys under the radar, guys who are undervalued in the recruiting deal. Because, in football, if you miss on a player, misevaluate, or you have an injury, then you could still be okay. It's probably as long as it's not your quarterback or something, but you could be okay. In basketball, if you misevaluate or you have an injury or two, especially to the guys that you're paying, it could crush your season. And so that's where the evaluation, how do you handle the money, finding guys who are under the radar, undervalued, and then go from there. And now, just because you have a whole heck of a lot of money doesn't guarantee success. But you obviously have a higher rate of opportunity where you don't have to maybe thread the needle to be as perfect, because you still got to put the team together, chemistry, cohesiveness, all that good stuff. But probably for where we're at with our budget right now, we've got to be really, really good at threading the needle and be near perfect. Now, if we could get over the hump, they haven't been in the NCAA tournament here in UNLV in over 16 years. They haven't won the Mountain West Conference regular season championship ever. So if we could do some of those things, it could potentially open some of the doors and the floodgates that would really be able to help fund us to where we could be a consistent and team, as in terms of competing for some of the different players that are going around the country at the different programs financially. So, but in order for us to do that, until we get to that point, like I said, our threading of the needle's got to be near perfect.
One quick question off of that answer, Coach. UNLV, national brand. How does Josh Pastner go about selling that brand and your style? Because your style is not like everyone's. How do you sell your style on a national brand to get players to buy into not only you as the head coach, but the program there at UNLV?
Well, Wes, you got to remember that things are different, because as much as I could, and I have great relationships in the game. That being said, a lot of it, every one of these prospects players have agents. And so it comes down to a business decision a lot of times. So Wes, I could sell to you and offer you, if you were an eligible recruit, I could offer you let's just make $200,000. But if Arkansas offers you $750,000, no matter, Wes, what you think of me and you and I's tight relationship, you're not going to leave $550,000 on the table. Very few are going to do that. So this has become more so than selling the brand, because you're constantly selling. I think it's more selling to the community to get people to buy tickets and selling to people to invest into the program NIL-wise, because in the sell of recruiting, a lot of times, and as much as you still do that, it could come down to a financial figure. And if one school's just way different than where you're at, it doesn't matter on the like or the sell approach. It's going to come down to a financial business decision. And I think that's right now there technically isn't a cap, even though they said there's supposed to be a cap, but people are spending at such different rates right now. So, and I think that's where I go back to having a collective bargaining agreement, Wes, could maybe help, where you say, okay, I'm just making this number up. $8 million for all men's basketball teams. Doesn't mean everybody has to do $8 million or opt into that, but nobody can go over that. And if you go over that, there is a severe penalty, like there is in the NBA with the luxury tax and everything else. But to get to that point, because we are in America, thank the good Lord, and thank the good Lord for capitalism and the greatest country in the world, America, without that kind of agreement, you can't really put a restriction on it because it's technically against the law. So that's where you see the wide range. So that's where the only way to stop it is going to be whether you get to a federal law, like where the federal government gets involved, which I don't foresee, even though there's been a lot of talks about it, will it really come to fruition? I just think it's hard to tell. Congress and the Senate, government's about to go on recess. Congress is going to go on recess here pretty soon, so I don't think it's going to get done. So that's where I'm trying to speak on reality, not theory, and say, hey, I just think for this to get where it's somewhat structured and equality for everybody, know where everyone stands, you've got to get to a collective bargaining agreement.
It's a great point. Go ahead, John.
All right, Coach. This past offseason, we've seen the NCAA tournament expand to a lot of teams. First of all, are you in favor of that? And then second of all, part question to that, is it going to make difficult, or is it going to be challenging regarding non-conference games now, regarding scheduling? Because I'm not going to name no teams, but I see a lot of cupcakes on these non-conference schedules by certain teams. And I feel like it might hurt their seed in the long haul. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think as a coach, the more teams, the better that can go to the NCAA tournament. When I was doing television and media prior to taking the UNLV job, I get where everyone wants to keep it where it's at. The addition of the 8 teams, it doesn't affect a Thursday, Friday bracket. All you're doing is adding more games Tuesday, Wednesday, which is great for the viewership. I mean, there's more games because beforehand it was just Tuesday, Wednesday at night. Now you have more games throughout the day. So I think it's a great thing. I also think the 8 additional teams, Jonathan, is going to be in favor for the 8 additional teams are going to favor the power conferences still. I still think they're going to get the nod in a sense that, if it came down between a Power 4 team and a team outside the Power 4, and there was a comparable resume, they probably will favor the Power team just because they have more opportunities, I would think, they are within their conference. But in regards to the non-conference schedule, what you do in November gets baked in. Like November non-conference is everything about you as an individual team, your team sheet, and for the conference, because it affects the conference. The only way, Jonathan, for teams to play you talk about a cupcake schedules, is the NC2A selection committee has to penalize teams that are on the bubble that don't play a good non-conference schedule. Whether that's if they don't have a good non-conference schedule rating-wise, or they don't play play a bunch of great games all the time, then then it's up to the selection committee to determine whether to not include them in the tournament, or if they were good enough to be in the tournament, to drop their seed. And I think that's the only way for that to happen, is for people to say, okay, this is the point of emphasis, and if you don't schedule in this way, then. But the issue is, they are really looking at the team sheets and the net rankings, and you can manipulate some of that by having large margin of victories. And so, how's the best way to get large margin of victories is against maybe some teams that are not in your league, talent-wise, and you can, have a chance to beat them, beat them pretty good, and that really affects your net rankings in a way that can kind of, you can kind of circumvent the numbers in a sense. So I know they're constantly talking about that, on how to eliminate some of those things, but a lot of that's all math equations.
Well, part of that question is because the reason I'm asking is because we've seen Memphis schedule a team that you're familiar with in your Mountain West Conference, Utah State, right in the middle of that February schedule, right in the conference play. Are you in favor of one of those right in the middle of your conference play before March?
Well, let me just say this. You look at Memphis's schedule last year, and we played Memphis last year, obviously, and you look at Memphis's non-conference schedule this year. I mean, Penny has gone out, Coach Hardaway has gone out and scheduled the best non-conference there is. I mean, they have tested themselves without question. And if they get in a situation where they're on the bubble, you would think, because of the way that he's scheduled, they're going to have the opportunity to get into the tournament if it became between them and another team. Now, obviously, you've got to win those games too in the non-conference, and they're not gimmies. He's got great teams he's playing against. And I think that if they were like a team against Utah State, if like last year in the midseason, Memphis goes and beats Utah State, and if Memphis was on a team that was on the bubble, that could put them on the right side of the bubble. So I think those type of things in midseason are really good. And if you win, and if you get two good teams competing against each other, and the winner of that game can, especially in that, that when you're not in those Power Four levels, like the Mountain West Conference or the American Conference, which we're in the Mountain West, Memphis in the American, that can put you over the top. I think it's a big deal, and I think it's really good, and I think it's smart to do. But again, you got to go win the games too. I mean, you also got to win it. But if they do win enough, and they have a situation, and I'm just talking on Memphis because we here at UNLV have scheduled aggressive and have a really good schedule, non-conference. But I think Memphis has scheduled one of the very best non-conference schedules in the country. And if they win those games, I think it'll pay off for them when it comes down to selection time.
Coach, one topic that we don't shy away from here at Four Star Sports Media is mental health. It's something that when you look at it on a national, global level, to me, it's a topic that deserves to be discussed even more. When you look at specifically the University of UNLV and then Josh Pastner, how does the university take care of not only its coaches and their staff and their family, but also the players? Because at the end of the day, in 2026, this is all result driven. It's either, it's basically, what have you done for me lately? Win now, and hopefully you can stick around. So how does UNLV help you, and then how do you not only help yourself, but your players?
Yeah, Wes, I mean, great question. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, it's 2026. I mean, mental health is on the forefront of everybody's, not only in the world of sports, but in every line of work right now. But in regards to UNLV, we have a sports psychologist on our staff. Or when I say on our staff, in the athletic department, there's multiple. We have a few of them in our athletic department, and we are, and they're available to our student athletes at all times. I would also tell you, I'm constantly telling the guys that I tell them, I'm very direct about this. I am not a mind reader, and I'm not a psychologist. And there's things that go on in your lives every single day that you can come talk to me about anything, and I'm here. My door is open, that I want to be a sounding board for you. But there, as you know, Wes and Jonathan, there are things that I'm just not trained for, you know what I'm saying? And so you need to have professionals who've gone to school and handled all that. And so if there's some deeper things that's beyond that, hey, coach, why am I not getting more shots? Or coach, why am I not, why do you not have me coming off the pin down on this play? But deeper things of feeling the pressure, things maybe going on at home, from whatever things going on mentally, we really encourage, I'm constantly encouraging them to seek and see professional help. And the great news about all that, nothing that they share with the psychologist can come to me. Even if they wanted to vent about me, you know what I'm saying? That information is protected, doesn't get to me. And I think sharing is so important. So I tell them, my door is open, but for whatever, to share and communicate. But if there's something where it's obviously a little more deeper, that's, that we need to get you help, I think it's so important. It can be life-saving. It can be life-changing. And to be able to communicate, not hold things in, sharing. And so I'm a big sharer. I try to get everyone involved. I like to express how I feel and talk things out with people. That helps me. I think exercising is really important to the best of your ability that you can, to try to just be active. I don't care if it's just going for a walk, and just staying active is good too. So, all those things go hand in hand to the best of your ability of it. But there's no doubt that we take mental health in a real serious way.
Hey, Josh, I just want to tell you this.
Go ahead, John.
Josh, I just want to tell you this. Man, you have changed so many lives on and off the basketball court, so keep up the good work. I'll be honest with you. When we had season tickets for Memphis basketball, I felt like you brought the energy on that sideline.
Well, John, let me say this.
Yeah.
A couple things, and so the viewership or anyone listening to this knows. Jonathan, who and Wes, Jonathan and I were texting, and he was at church, and he said, "Let me call Wes," because I was talking about a time thing. I have to do something. I had to change a quick time. And Jonathan was at church. He says, "Well, let me call Wes." I says, "Absolutely not. Do not call Wes. You cannot leave church to call Wes. I cannot have the good Lord, to be mad at me that I'm asking Jonathan to call Wes in the middle of church service to change the time of the podcast." I said that he will not like that. And so, but Jonathan then he knows. She says Jonathan's like, the good Lord knows that we're serious about our craft, coach, and that we love talking sports and basketball. And so I appreciate you saying that. And I do want to also say about the energy. When I came here to UNLV and last year I coached, I had more people come tell me, like, we love just watching you on the sidelines because you're so energized all the time. And part of the thing is I told UNLV for the in-game entertainment, I want the in-game entertainment to match my energy every single day in that arena. So when the fans come in, what they feel in that arena is that energy. And so that's a constant thing that we're constantly doing. But I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I coach every possession like it's the last possession that you get. And I love being a head coach, love being on the sidelines, and I appreciate you saying that, Jonathan. We don't take season ticket holders. Even when I was the head coach at Memphis, I never took them for granted. They made the program what it is. And you know what? And I tell our guys this all the time now, because I'm out in the community, because this is a rebuild job. And I'm out there in the community asking people for money, but also asking people to buy tickets. And you both understand this. And I tell our players, because this isn't the old days now. Hey, guys, you're getting paid like a professional. You're getting paid like pro guys, pro sport, pro athletes. Okay, when people pay their hard-earned money and they come watch you, vice versa, if I went to go buy a ticket to go watch, look, yes, winning and losing, all that matters. We get into that. But the one thing that can never not happen is if you have to exhaust and exert and empty your tank like it's your last day on earth with that game, because people who are spending their hard-earned money and knowing that you make money, the fans deserve that. Look, you both know you can't. You're going to have games where you're not shooting the ball well. Things aren't. Those are things out of your control. The effort-based deal is never out of your control, and it's even more so now than ever because you're just not some kind of college student athlete. You are now getting paid, and so when people are paying their hard-earned money and knowing that you are probably making more than most people in that arena, and the hard-earned people that are paying that ticket, you owe that to play with that type of intensity and level, and that's something that's probably more so different than even obviously 10 years ago when I was at Memphis. Obviously that was important for our teams, but you could always call them kids. You know what I mean? They're young guys trying to go through. It's totally different now.
I need you to bring the flashcards back this season, Coach.
I still got the flashcards on the sideline. I still got them, and I still hold them up, and people still. They're like, Coach, that is just so elementary. I go, I know. It's everywhere I've gone. Some people have liked it, some people haven't. People have been, and I just said, look, it is what it is. I just hold the signs up so that way there's no gray area. The reason I do it is so there's no gray area with our team on we knowing what we're in offensively or defensively, just so they can't have three guys on one thing and two guys thinking the other. When I hold that flashcard up, everybody knows, and it's big and bold. So there can be no confusion on that.
I love that. I love it. He still brings energy with the flashcards, Wes.
Hey, I'm just glad he cleared it up because I'm not going to lie to you. I have been wanting to know for many years because I'm thinking to myself like, man, there is some, guys at Singleton Community Center coaching third grade basketball that are probably not using cue cards, and this man is a D1 basketball coach at a high level, and he's flashing his bad boys up, and if he throws it up, you better know it. I always liked it, but I was always a little perplexed as to why. So thank you for clearing that up, Coach.
Well, you're right, Wes. Most probably even grade level coaches, even at the Pee Wee level, are not using flashcards, and so I have gotten a lot of flack about that. Trust me. But part of it, because when you're changing defenses, so we change defenses a lot. So, like for example, we might run a certain defense after a made basket, have a different defense after a missed basket, a different defense on a base out of bounds, different coverages. So, it's not like football where you can huddle and get yourself set up into what assignment you're in, because basketball is so free-flowing instinctively and there's no stoppage and the reason I'm holding the sign is because we change defenses quite a bit in the course of in the made basket, missed basket, side out of bounds, base out of bounds, made or missed free throw. So it's a reminder of what we're in when those type of things happen to eliminate gray. One of my big things I believe in, Wes, is the more gray area there is, less accountability. And when you try to take out the gray area, you can really there's more accountability and you can really hold people accountable at a very high level.
It's an incredible point. Coach, last question for you. Get out of here. Well, last question, and then we've got to give you a chance to promote yourself and your team on the socials and, the Twitter and the X and all that. Anyway, at the end of the day, I love to talk sports, but I also love to inform our viewers of who we are speaking to on a personal level. So what is Josh Pastner's why in life? At the end of the day, when you get up in the morning, why do you do what you do?
Wes, what you see with me is what you get. I am like this all the time. I'm a really, really positive person. I'm a person that absolutely loves life. I also understand that life is extremely, extremely fragile and precious. It's so, and Wes and Jonathan, you guys have, everyone's been around things and seen things, or your own personal life. I mean, just the fragileness of it all. And so, I don't want to look back and say, hey, I didn't live every day of life, whether it was, because, being the head coach at UNLV, when you talk about your why, man, I love my job. I love what I do. I love every single thing about it, and I exhaust everything that I have in my tank to empty my tank to try to give us the best chance to continue to move the needle. I mean, it's the same thing whether it's with my family or whatever. So it's the why is just, man, I just love life. I really hope, like on my Coach Jay Pastner X account, like the 3 things up top is, every day is a gift, every heartbeat's a gift, every breath is a gift. And then I talk about, I hope to live to 120 one day. I hope to. I really want to, because I love life. And so I have that exuberance about just life in general. And if you kind of make it in a singular focus of just as being the head coach at UNLV, man, I would love to be able to take a third team to the NC2A tournament. Was fortunate enough to do it with Memphis and Georgia Tech, and now have another program to if you have that opportunity to lead it back to the NC2A tournament. And so those are some of my whys. I'm probably a little different than probably guys you come across, but what you see with me is what you get. And I love every second of it. I'm going into my 16th year as a head coach, and I've loved every second of it. I am really, really, if at all, complain. I don't know. The only time I've really complained is a couple times this year. I've called the league office about the officials. Other than that, I don't complain. So I might complain about the officiating here and there, but otherwise, I am all about like solution focused. And man, you better enjoy being, doing what you do and loving every second of it and seeing where it can take you.
And John, I can only imagine the strongly worded daggum that was in that letter or in those phone calls from Josh Pastner, because we know it's not going any further than daggum. It's just not going to happen.
You know what? Here are some of my good sayings I use with the guys, because you're right. I do not use any foul language. I don't allow our staff to use any foul language. I don't the player. Nope, we nip that in the bud. But Jiminy Christmas, here that's the one I use quite a bit. Or you've got to be kidding me. You're not more ready to play than the man on the moon. You're killing the grass. So you got to keep moving. Come on, you get your rear end going. Let's go. You know what I mean? So you talk about the flashcards being elementary. How about my talk to the guys being elementary? The good thing, Wes and Jonathan, your wives, your kids, they could be in my huddle or practice and not have to put earmuffs on. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that there's not great intensity and focus and we're locked in. But you know what the great thing is? You talk about mental health in 2026. I think also in 2026, being real careful with your words. Like, the nice thing about when you're coaching strictly about performance and not making it personal, when you use foul language, that line can get crossed and people cannot hear the message and they just hear the language. And that's where things can go haywire. And so the great thing about, keeping discipline with your words, you're able to be focused on the performance based and not ever take it into a personal situation.
I have told people for the last at least 10 years that Josh Pastner is proof that you can coach at a high level, you can develop and you can motivate young men without screaming, without cussing, and without drinking Coca-Colas. You can do it. It's not hard.
I think it's
you
a
can do
Diet
it.
Coke drinker, Wes.
And the smile that puts on his face tells me I'm 1,000% correct.
Yeah, you're right, and I appreciate you saying that, Wes. And that is accurate. I try to, that you can be at a high level and be successful and not have to change your values or principles along the way.
That's it. That's it. Well, Coach, before we get you out of here, we always give you a chance to promote yourself. So, how can we follow you? How can we follow your team on social media?
Yeah, well, first of all, appreciate you both having me on, and thanks for all the coverage that you do. I know you're not really, you're there in the South and all that, but I appreciate you, letting me get on and talking UNLV and the West Coast here, and I appreciate that. I loved my time, by the way, at Memphis. Loved my time there. Go Tigers, go! We had some great runs, and just to really love the people there in Memphis and as well too. And so you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can follow me on social media on X at Coach J Pastner, Instagram, same thing, and Coach J Pastner, or you can do the UNLV Running Rebels UNLV men's basketball. And I'm a guy that's pretty hands-on. Like, if you know anybody that you're coming out west and you want to buy some season tickets or whatever, email me. Like, I'm great on email, and I give out my personal email. Like, everyone can email me. It's on the school website. I respond to everybody. If somebody doesn't get a response, they didn't send it to the right person. But my email is joshua.pastner at unlv.edu. And so if you know somebody that lives out west that wants to buy season tickets and fill up the Thomas and Mack Arena, there's free parking. You get free parking when you come to the games at UNLV. The concessions are good. We're changing the in-game entertainment. We are the running Rebels, so we're going to play a great style of play and play fast. We're diving on the floor. So even if you're in the South there, come out here to the West Coast, buy a couple tickets, or if you're coming this way, send me an email and I'll get you connected to the ticket office so you can get tickets so we can pack the Mac. The place where we play at's Thomas and Mack Center. I'm always talking about we got to pack the Mac. People are always like, Coach, you win, we will fill up the arena. You know what I tell them? Well, which came first, the chicken or the egg? They go, what do you mean, Coach? I'm like, we need people in the arena to help us win. I get it. Once we're winning big, everyone will be there, but I need everyone there initially so we can win big. It's what came first, the chicken or the egg. Come on now, let's figure this out. Let's get everyone in the arena.
And folks, you get to watch a sixth man play defense on the sideline.
That's right.
Sideline, he is going to be box to box, no question about it. He's going to be playing defense, jumping. I mean, he will just about get on the court and steal a pass.
That's right.
But Josh Pastner, we appreciate your time and availability today, right here on the Conference Crunch, presented by Four Star Sports Media.